So this morning, Rob can see how happy I am to be going paperless here. The joy as I light up my iPad. This is so much fun. Today, April 22nd, I am speaking on the ancient secret to happy living. Does that sound like something you'd find in a fortune cookie? The ancient secret to happy living. So, have you ever noticed here in the valley that we really go from our cold winter, rainy days one week to summer? It's like 90 degrees today. There's no easing into this. We're just there, right? But we have had our share of rain this month, which has been wonderful. And now it feels like summer, just like that. And even though we really enjoyed the rain that we had, the April showers, this month we're turning our attention to another kind of April showers, which is the showers of God's blessings that are always pouring down on us, whether it's cloudy outside or sunny outside. And they're always pouring down upon us, through us, from us, and back to us if we open our hearts to experience them. So we have to do the job of being open to the blessings for them to run through us and as us and to us. So today we're going to explore that idea that has been called the ancient secret for happy living. An idea which, if you make a habit of it, can transform your life. And why is this? Why can this transform your life? It's because of the reciprocal nature of the universe. Here's an illustration. A man and his son are walking through the forest, and suddenly the son trips, and he feels a sharp pain, and he screams, "Ah!" And surprised, he hears a voice coming from the mountain, "Ah!" And filled with curiosity, he screams, "Who are you?" But the only answer he receives is, "Who are you?" And this really makes him angry, so he screams, "You are a coward." And he hears back, "You are a coward." And he looks at his father and he says, "Dad, what's going on?" Then the man says, "Son, pay attention." Then the dad screams, "I admire you." And the voice answers, "I admire you." And the father shouts, "You are wonderful." And the voice answers, "You are wonderful." The boy is surprised, but still can't understand exactly what's going on. And then the father explains, "People call this an echo, but it truly is life. It gives back that which you choose to put into it. It's simply a reflection of who we are. So we are to the world. What we are to the world is to us." So our topic today, the ancient secret for happy living, is in alignment with this core concept. So what is the core concept that I'm talking about? It's really the simple act of blessing. And that's why our song today reflected, we're the blessing to the world. And when we engage in the act of blessing, we are blessed in return. But we have to first do it. We have to be the ones to start it. Catherine Ponder, which I'm sure many of you have read, Catherine Ponder, one of New Thought's greatest prosperity teachers, in her book, The Prosperity Secrets of the Ages, says that the act of blessing everything is a transformative prosperity secret. And I'm wondering if it goes along with the song that you were telling me here about on the CD. The Bible, the Old Testament particularly, focuses a lot on the practice of blessing. And the Hebrews put great store in the power of blessing. If one was to receive a spoken blessing, he did not want anyone to stand in the way of him accepting it. He considered the blessing a priceless gift. And the Bible tells us that Jacob felt a blessing was so powerful that he stole the blessing his father intended to bestow upon his brother. And God pointed out the great power of blessing to Abraham when he said to him, "I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou a blessing." So, what exactly is a blessing? Webster's dictionary says, "To bless is to hallow or consecrate by religious rite or word, to invoke divine care of, to confer prosperity or happiness upon." I like that. And Webster says that a blessing is a thing conducive to happiness or welfare. Ernest Holmes on this is actually the glossary, page 577, defines a blessing as constructive thought directed toward anyone or any condition. You bless an individual when you recognize the divinity in him or her. So, if we can make a habit of blessing everything and everyone, it can transform our life. It can transform our life. There was a little girl who one night was saying her bedtime prayers. And after sending blessings, have you ever heard little ones saying their prayers? And bless mom and bless dad, and she blessed her brother and her sister and all of her relatives and all of her pets and all of her stuffed animals and just about everyone and everything that she could think of. And finally she said, and dear God, bless you too. Because if anything happens to you, we're all sunk. We needn't be concerned that something will happen to God. But it's a powerful practice to begin to bless everything, just like this little girl did. So do you remember, those of you who were here on Palm Sunday, do you remember the blessing, the rose blessing, when you each received a blessing and you received the rose? And how about now that we take that blessing that you received and we take it out to the world? First, we need to focus on the good. It's easy to see the good, isn't it? And bless it. Find the good and praise it, find the good and bless it. Bless even the not so good, because to bless even the not so good is to bring forth in a situation whether there seems to be any good to be brought forth or not. So we're going to be blessing and we're going to bring whatever good there is in that situation. And to bless is really to judge not according to appearances, as Jesus advised, but to judge according to righteous judgment of beholding the good and therefore bringing it forth in a condition or person. So basically we're seeing through to the divine spark within. We're seeing, as the song The Face of God goes, we're seeing the face of God in everyone, regardless of whether we see it on the outside or not. Blessing the good really is the easy part, isn't it? But blessing the not so good, well, that kind of gets to be a little bit tricky. And that's where the transformation truly comes. For example, and this is going to sound like a story, we were just watching for about 2 minutes last night, You've Got Mail, and it reminded me of this story that I'm sharing now. If you've seen that movie, You've Got Mail. A grocer went to his guru one day in great distress, saying that across the way from his shop, a large chain store that was being built, and this store was surely going to drive him out of business. And his family had owned his shop for, a century, just like that little bookstore that Meg Ryan owned, and You've Got Mail. And to lose it would really, he felt it would be his unfolding. He would just, that was everything. And there was nothing else he was truly skilled in other than running this little family market. And said the master guru, if you fear the owner of the chain store, you will hate him, and it is hatred that will be your undoing. Well, what shall I do, said the distraught grocer. Each morning walk out of your shop onto the sidewalk and give thanks for and bless your shop, accepting for it prosperity. Then turn and face the chain store and do the same for it. What? Be grateful and bless my competitor, my destroyer? Are you crazy? And he said, the gratitude and blessings that you give him will rebound as your good. Any evil you wish him will destroy you. After 6 months, the grocer returned to report that he indeed had to close his shop after all. But he was now in charge of the chain store, and his life was in better shape than it ever had been before. And in the movie You've Got Mail, it ends pretty good too. She ends up closing her shop, but I think she ends up marrying the owner of the big box store. So she goes on to be a writer. She pursues it. It actually pushed her into following her dream of being a writer. So sometimes when they say when God closes a door, he opens a window, or another door opens, or something like that. And a lot of times, these little urges, these little nudges are the universe's way of saying, hey, it's time for you to try something new. Right, Rich? Right, okay. So, remember the echo. Remember the reciprocal nature of the universe. What we are to the world is to us. As Paul advised the Romans, at Romans 12:14, bless and curse not. Let us not be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. Of this scripture, Ernest Holmes writes in the Science of Mind book, page 487, here is the whole law and prophets. We are to overcome evil with good. Evil lasts but for a day, while goodness shines to eternity, and loving kindness is the very nature of deity. As the darkness has no power over light, so evil is overcome with good. But let's define evil. Ernest Holmes says that evil is that which seems destructive. It is an experience of the soul on its journey toward the realization of reality. Of itself, it is neither person, place, nor thing, and will disappear in the exact proportion that we cease using destructive methods. So when we stop, again, there's Abraham right there. When we stop focusing the law of attraction, what we focus on, we create and attract more of in our life. So when we stop focusing on the evil, we stop creating it. What if everybody stopped watching the news? What if everybody stopped reading the paper? What if everybody stopped worrying about everything? Wouldn't that be, I mean, that would be an amazing thing. See a huge transformation.
Politicians would go broke.
What?
The politicians would go broke.
Maybe not. Maybe they would be propelled into their next wonderful, prosperous experience. What if by blessing we could be a light in someone's life? When we bless a problem, an injury, a lack, or a foe, we acknowledge the divinity in the situation or the purpose or the person. Bless your body and see it manifest radiant wholeness. We have meditations that do that. I bless my body. Bless away the troublesome physical conditions. Recognize perfection, and by the sure working of divine law, perfection will reveal itself through you. Myrtle Fillmore, she was the co-founder of Unity, and her story is really amazing because this happened, I think, before Unity. This is what actually propelled Unity into existence. She regained her health through this method. She was told that she had a terminal condition, and she began blessing and thanking each organ of her body, praising the intelligence within it, and encouraging it to come forth into new life. And she was healed. Try blessing your cells regularly and see how eagerly they respond with increased health. And that's the Bruce Lipton, the intelligence of our cells, and that's a whole other lecture, but that's what the science is now backing this up. Science is backing up what we've known in the spiritual world. So here's a great blessing affirmation. I bless my body and my mind, for they are good and worthy of my love. Let's say that together. I bless my body and my mind, for they are good and worthy of my love. Bless your problems. Even if you feel that you are powerless before the tide of events, a blessing will call forth where you can now see only obstacles and challenges. So it will bring forth, the blessing will bring forth the good. Bless your debts in the certainty that it is the Father's good pleasure to provide you with enough to easily meet every obligation of yours. In the book, the Prosperity book by Charles Fillmore, he described the power of blessing this way. Blessing the substance increases its flow. If your money supply is low or your purse seems empty, take it in your hands and bless it. See it filled with living substance, ready to become manifest. As you prepare your meals, bless your food and the thought of spiritual substance. When you dress, bless your garments and realize that you are being constantly clothed with God's substance. The more conscious you become of the presence of the living substance, the more it will manifest itself for you, and the richer will be the common good for all. Identify yourself with substance until you make it yours. It will change your finances, destroy your fears, stop your worries, and you'll soon begin to rejoice in the ever-present bounty of God. So, it is absolutely possible to bless an empty purse into plump abundance. I like that. Plump abundance. I see my wallet as plump. Okay, empty shells into blessed sufficiency. An empty heart into the fullness of joy. Remember the simple affirmation that you can use often in releasing the dynamic power of blessing into your life and affairs. And this is, God blesses me and makes me a blessing. So let's say that. God blesses me and makes me a blessing. Form the habit of blessing everything you have. It may seem foolish to some persons to bless nickels, dimes, and dollars, but when we do, we are setting the law of increase into operation. And, you know, this really hit me this week when I was talking to a friend who was reminding her son that he needed to write his thank you notes for his birthday gifts. And most, you know, he's a teenager, so he gets checks. And so she was giving him a list, and he says, well, how about his aunt, you know, her sister? She says, no, you don't need to give her a thank you note. She only gave you $5. And, you know, I thought about this, and I thought, I can't hold my tongue on this. I went back and I said, no, he needs to write a thank you note for everything. There's no big or small in the mind that knoweth all. And gratitude If he disdains this small gift, which she felt was what she could give, then he's saying no to the universe. So don't block his good. Don't block his good by saying that wasn't worthy of gratitude. Everything is worthy of gratitude. And she saw that, and I think that that may have made a difference. But it struck me, I thought, wow, there are some people who do that. But how does Spirit know? When you're saying no to something that, that the $5 isn't as important as the $25. How does Spirit know? It doesn't. So it's important that we give thanks for everything and that we teach gratitude, when we can, because I think that's important. All substance is one and connected, whether in the visible or the invisible. The mind likes something that is already formed and tangible for a suggestion to take hold of. And so that's why we do our imaging. With this image, the mind sets to work to draw similar substance from the invisible realm, which is the creative soul substance that we've been learning about in Science of Mind 101 and 102, and thus increases what we have in hand. It's the creative process. So when we bless our money or other goods, we're complying with the divine law of increase that has been demonstrated many, many times, and most of us here have done that. Not a problem. So, give me some ideas of things that we can bless. What can we bless?
Bless the economy, bless the president, bless your neighbor, bless people who in the past you felt have done you wrong. Bless.
Who else can we bless?
The thugs down the street, the people you interact with every day, the guy who cuts you off.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Bless you. Yeah. Bless their heart. What would you say?
Bless our food.
Bless our food. But how about the guy that's asking for money, on the corner, the panhandlers, or, let's see, how about our earth? It is Earth Day. Let's bless our entire earth. That sounds wonderful to me. Bless our food. Bless our bank accounts. Bless our purses. Bless our new boat. Black Oak Casino. Yes, bless the casinos. Bless entertainment. Bless your boat. Bless our medical system. Bless our healthcare system. Bless our insurance companies. How does that feel? That's a little bit, but yes. Let's bless our insurance companies. Let's bless our car insurance companies. Let's bless them. Let's bless them and know that they have our highest and best in mind when they're making their decisions. Let's bless the presidential and other races that are going on and every candidate that's running. Let's bless them and know that they too are divinely guided. It feels better to do that, doesn't it, than to start picking apart what we don't like?
And just a quick thing on that. I had to deal with an insurance company recently. And in the past, it always hasn't been the best experience. But the person who I dealt with was so nice and explained things. And I had a question instead of insurance ease, where she would just put it in plain terms. Really made it just a pleasurable experience. And I got back more than I expected to, which was even greater.
Isn't that great? Isn't that fabulous? So, how about a blessing for our center and our congregation? How about that? I lovingly bless this center and anyone who has ever been, is now, or will be a part of it with infinite love, abundant creativity, and overflowing prosperity. I love that. And we can think of other blessings too for our center and for everyone in it. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbooks 434 says, when we constructively praise and creatively bless, life abounds with love, peace, and joy. So let goodness shine forth. Let us learn to see that everyone is an evolving Christ. Let us so live and think that we may look upon all with love, condemning none and blessing all. And that is the secret, the ancient secret to happy living. And so it is.